Hey everyone, this is Jasmine. I'm a Reiki and Mental Alchemy practitioner. My Instagram handle is sunplutoalchemist, and if you would like to find out more about what I do, I'm going to leave my details below so you can check that out. Okay, so my counseling psychology class just ended, and what happened earlier kind of like sent me down a memory lane about why I actually stopped this course in the first place. I do struggle to find resonance with the people in class. Sometimes, in fact, the teacher as well, which, don't get me wrong, I feel like I am learning a lot in class, and it really helps to incorporate all of this therapeutic methods, modality into what I'm doing so I can support my clients more. But it's just that sometimes the things, the comments, and some of the stuff like the teachers or the students share just like create so much questions in me, then give me like epiphany or like give me of like idea of what I should be doing. So earlier today we kind of have like a role play done by a teacher and by a student. So the student came up with like actual issues, and the teacher kind of like did the role play in class to share, kind of like demonstrate, how we can do it and probably learn about the technical stuff. And then, so obviously I'm not going to share the story, but in the Q&A itself, somebody actually asked, is it, about self-disclosure? So the teacher said like it is always, or rather she said that she feels that it's good to, share stuff about yourself based on what the client is sharing at that point, and if you can find resonance about like maybe you experienced the same thing before and you can share that with your client so that to kind of like show that you have resonance, you felt how the person felt before and stuff like that. And I totally agree, and this is kind of like what I do in my sessions as well. Obviously not all the time because I can't find resonance for all of the things that all my clients been through, and I think this is quite normal. We are only human. There is no way that we can experience everything. And I think what puzzled me was then it sent some people down this road of like, what if I cannot find resonance? How can I show that I have heard of this kind of case before? I have like went through something similar before, and somebody actually came up with the idea of like, hey, you know what? If you have been through, I don't know, for example, I don't know, let's just say, for example, that you don't have like a good relationship with your mother, and I want to say like, I do have a friend who also don't have such a good relationship with the mother, because just so that maybe because like you have a good relationship with your mother, and I'm like, okay, it's a bit I don't know the English word for now, but it was like a bit 牵强, like it feels like you're trying extra hard. And I don't know, I'm just trying to picture myself in a therapeutic session, and if somebody were to come in and tell me like, oh, I have a friend or I know someone who struggles this issue, like, would it actually help me to feel more resonance with you, feel more related with you? I don't know. And then I think what puzzled me the most when somebody said like, does it mean that I can lie during the session? Like maybe for example, in this case, if somebody had like a client had an issue with, for example, the mother, and you actually have a good relationship with your mother, but you kind of like want to build that resonance or that rapport with your client, and you lie and say like, oh, actually I do have that problem, or like I made up a friend to say like that friend have a problem. It just puzzled me, why is there a need to lie? I think that was the first thing that was like, wait, what? And then instead of like, a bunch of people in class, I would say probably like there is definitely more than 10. I don't know if there are like 20. Like nobody better than I, and it felt really normal. Like, is the normal the right thing to do? I have no idea. And then somebody added on like to say like, hey, you know what? You can get creative. And that's where I stopped again. I was like, wait, what? There are like so many questions that just pops in my mind, and I'm like, no. I do not want to build a rapport. I really don't want to build any relationship with anybody, including my clients, through lying or through creativity. And I do not want, I feel like they are all so fixated on trying to build rapport with someone by building their resonance, and my mind just go immediately to like, how about holding space, like holding a neutral, non-judgmental space with empathy? How about just being sincerely you as a person? It just puzzled me so much how this is like a normalish remark or conversation in class. I was just baffled, really baffled. And I think what the teacher said next was like, sometimes your client can smell, whether you are skilled or you're professional, or whether we are still green into this profession. And she said that sometimes you just have to fake it till you make it. Okay, granted, I feel like there is many ways how you could interpret this statement, but to me, it's just like no, what I want is to talk to another authentic person, another genuine person who comes from a perspective of just wanting to understand me, just wanting to show me empathy, and just be genuine about what you are doing. And I was just like, it reminded me so much of why I decided to stop this thing in the first place, because oh my god, I need a moment to breathe, because I feel so emotionally activated by what just happened earlier. Oh gosh. And because I feel like towards the end of my diploma that I encountered last year, it was somewhat similar, but of course like a different thing. So to share the story, is kind of like the teacher that was teaching us at that time said that I think he does like volunteer work and in like a prison or something, and he deal with really like I don't know, murderers and stuff, cannot really remember. And it was the comment that he made that really drives me to like again into this state of feeling baffled. Is that he said this, he's like, in the face or in the eyes of facing a murderer and having the murderer telling you all those gruesome stuff, all those gruesome scenes, you still need to maintain a very non-critical and non-judgmental expression and look. And I think it was the way he said it, because I did agree with what he said, but it was the way that he says like, guys, the things that they described to me, it's really terrifying, but you need to still be non-judgmental. And I'm like, dude, the way that you are explaining it right now, you are judging. There is judgment in your tone. There is judgment in whatever you are implying, even though you are like not saying. It's kind of like he's saying, I'm judging, but I cannot show. And oh my god. I feel like the basis of any therapeutic setting is holding space, is being non-judgmental, and coming from the space of wanting to understand with empathy, and not pretending like you can do that. Like it has to be in the core of every therapist and every counselor, and it's not a game of playing pretend. Oh dear God, I think that's the right word. It's not a game of playing pretend like you can do that. It's not an act. God, it's not an act. You need, for me, it's kind of like you need to already have it in your bones that you can always come from a perspective of like wanting to understand, being curious, wanting to empathize with the person. In fact, I feel like showing empathy is probably the wrong word. You need to, at your very core, being able to empathize with whoever, mainly like majority of the people, for what they did, and for what they are going through. And then, if you feel like you qualify as this kind of person, that you are able to hold space, you are able to be genuine, sincere, authentic, that's where you go take up these courses, because then you will be learning the technicality part, like the modality part, like how to further help these people even more. And not about like faking it. It's not faking it. It's probably like, for example, for me, I can empathize with a lot of people. I think what I lack is able to verbalize them, which is why I have gone for I'm going to such courses right now, because it's about like giving me the words, giving me the vocabulary, or like the structure of how to do it, how to like kind of like articulate and then have that come across, rather than just being in my body, but having these qualities in your body itself. It should be the first and foremost quality. My God, and I'm just going on and on and on, being so frustrated about it. So going back to what I said, like, I know that it is probably hard. I feel like we all need to admit, we cannot, there is some parts of us probably we are not able to empathize or like understand 100% of human population. That is for sure. But it's okay to say that it's okay if you feel like certain people or certain situations is not for you. Then don't be there. Don't be there. Don't go counsel. Don't go like provide therapeutic sessions for like people where you can't hold empathetic space, coming from a space of like understanding and curiosity. So I mean, think about it. Just reflect and think. For someone to commit such a gruesome act, or like such a violent act, and nobody likes violence, nobody likes gruesome, and if so, there must be a reason why. And if, let's say, somebody are able is the wrong word, somebody actually come to a point, coming into that space of having to commit certain act, what is the driving force and how were they feeling right before that? I think this is what we want to look at. This is what we want to talk about. This is what we want to explore. And not that, you know what, I'm already judging this person for like doing such a gruesome act, but let me pretend to be non-judgmental. Let me not show. But if you come from a space of like, there is a reason why, and actually I start empathizing with certain people before I even talk to them, because the logic of like having been drove to take that action, having been drove to go to the extent, that driving force must be really painful, must be really, really hard for them. And this is what I want to understand, and this is what I want to hold space for. Oh God. I hope I don't sound too mad in this whole thing, but yeah. And I feel like I was just talking to my friend Sabrina. Hi Sabrina, if you are listening. I was just talking to her, or rather I was just randomly texting her the other day that in one of the classes when I went in, and I feel like this is not just like one teacher, a couple of teachers has already said that. It's like, the awareness of mental health is on the rise, and like everybody's watching this space. There's gonna be more and more demand for mental health practitioner, for like counselor, for like therapists. I get it. I feel like the exposure is good. Like the exposure, the awareness is really good, because there could be like some people who are experiencing certain issues, certain problems, and they do not know what to do with it. And having the knowledge of like, hey, you know what, I can seek help, I can seek support. I feel like that does us, like the mainstream, like the bunch of us, like so much good. But on the flip side, right, I have met people who actually wants to be a counselor or wants to be a therapist just so because it is on the rise, just so because it is in demand right now. And can you imagine? It's not like a job, like I want to be an admin person, I want to be a finance person, I want to, like, I don't know, open a bubble tea shop because it's in demand right now. Like I was just doing this podcast, I probably am still uploading it right now, that it needs to be heart-led work, it needs to be soul-led work, because only if heart-led and soul-led is the driving force, then I would want these people to be my therapist, these people to be my counselor. Can you imagine the market in the future? It's going to be flooded with so much counselors and therapists, and the reason for them wanting to be in that position is just so because it is in demand. Can you imagine if their driving force is their income? I'm not saying that income is not important. It definitely is. I also need to eat. I also need to keep my human body alive. But if, let's say, somebody said that I'm in this line just because I can have a job, what kind of therapy session do you think that will be? Oh dear God. Oh dear God. I really want to curse. I think I can curse, but I just don't want to risk my video not being able to upload. But I have so much feelings and I have so much emotions about this. And I feel like I need to verbalize this. I need to articulate this. I don't know how many people is watching, but I feel like this needs to raise awareness, because for some of the people, for a lot of the people that I see, that I talk to, they are very conditioned to see things on a very surface level. We are strategizing in terms of, like, it's always from a bird's eye view, like how can we strategize this, how can I strategize my life, how can I plan, and we kind of like didn't pay attention to the important bits of it, the important parts of it. Where are your gifts? What is your life purpose? How can you serve the community? How can you serve the people around you? How can you do good for the world? How can you do good for even just the country that you are in? And stop focusing on the statistics. How can I strategize? And it should be, it should be the guideline, it should be the support to your life purpose, and it should not only be the main part of it. I thought I'm gonna sit and think, and then I need to edit this video, but apparently I don't because I just went on and on and on non-stop, and I feel that was, I don't know, I feel very amused by myself. At some point, I feel like I probably have more to say about this, but it is what it is now. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, bye bye.